All right. Well, welcome everybody to practicing the pause with Phil. Glad you all could be here. I hope you're having a good Wednesday. Let me get to my share screen here. Open up with. So I hope everybody's having a good Wednesday so far. All right. Welcome everybody once again to practice the pause with Phil on this Wellness Wednesday, and I hope you're having a good day. And I like to open up with what the name says there, practicing the pause. It helps to, I find, to relieve stress. And that's what I want everyone to get out of this too about wellness is, it's practical. It's very practical. We can discover these tools that we can use. And for me, a lot of times I can have a lot of anxiety, stress. You ever feel like that? Just kind of feel overwhelmed sometimes. Well, practicing the pause, one of the things that we do to practice the pause is our breathing technique. And maybe some of you are familiar with that, maybe with your meditation or just this breathing exercise. And, I was doing some research this past week about, breathing. And, breathing is a mindfulness skill. We practice this mindfulness skill. Maybe you've heard of that word, mindfulness. Mindfulness. That's what we want to do. That's some of the tools that we want to learn with wellness is one of them is mindfulness or bringing awareness, bringing our attention to some of these things that we do throughout our day. And so breathing is one of them. And you might think, you don't even have to stop and think about breathing. Your body just automatically does it. Your body automatically just breathes. But when we can bring attention and mindfulness to our breathing, I think it has a powerful effect. And one of the things I was reading about this week when I was doing research on breathing, on this mindfulness skill, is that practicing mindfulness skills can help you focus on one problem at a time. Maybe you have a difficulty out there. Sometimes your mind might be like mine, where we try to multitask. We're trying to do so many things and try to accomplish so much. And so, practicing mindfulness skill, this breathing, can help us focus on one problem at a time, rather than being overwhelmed. And like I said, that's one of the things that I try to work on is not being so overwhelmed. And I find if I can make my tasks manageable, if I can slow down, if I can practice this mindfulness skill, which one of them is breathing, if I can do that, it helps me not to become so overwhelmed. And so, like I said, I want us to see wellness as something that's practical, things that we can do, tools that we can develop in our own lives that can help us, that can help us manage our stress and manage our anxiety and some of these other things we might be facing. And so, practicing mindfulness skills like this breathing can help us do that. It can help us focus on one problem at a time rather than becoming overwhelmed. And I think that's so good. That's so key, especially on the day and age that we're living, where we have so much going on. It can feel like sometimes. So this is going to be practical. These things that we want to learn here for wellness, I hope it's going to be practical to each one of us. It's going to help better ourselves, and that's what wellness really is to become our best self, to better ourselves. And these mindfulness skills, they can also help you distinguish between your thoughts and what is actually occurring around you. In other words, it helps you to get out of your own head. And that's why I found in recovery that's one of the biggest obstacles, I think, is not to stay up in this headspace. And I found different ways that I don't have to, stay up in my head the whole time. That I can do things to help with that. And mindfulness skills, learning these mindful skills helps us to do that. It helps us to get out of our own head. And so practicing the pause, which I've entitled this course, is what I'm gonna be doing here at the Recovery Center, practicing the pause. It's a reminder. It's a reminder not only to me, but hopefully to the rest of us that we need to practice these things. We can put it in our daily lives. We can do this anywhere. That's what's so cool about our breathing is we can do it anywhere. We can take that time to pause and practice this mindfulness exercise. We can do that anywhere. And I invite you to do that with me, to practice the pause. Practice the pause with Phil. And so let's find a relaxing place. Hopefully, you have a relaxing place, whether it be a chair. I found sometimes posture has a lot to do with it. Whether I'm sitting up straight, just in a relaxing. You don't want anything to be, so rigid. But something that's relaxing. Yeah, that's the main point of this is, that you have a relaxing environment, and I found that that's key too to wellness. Is an environment. Environment. What's something that you can do, to add a relaxation, create a good environment, a wellness environment, whether it be at work or at home, or somewhere where you just feel like, hey, I can go and I can relax. Uh, I know you're probably not supposed to be relaxing too much at work, but there's some things that you can add there, to your work, like let's say a candle. Is that something maybe that reminds you to hey, it's okay to be centered, to find balance. That's part of wellness. So maybe it's a candle. Another thing that I like to do, we'll talk about some of these things, further as we go along. But another thing I like to do is tea. I'd never think that I'd be much of a tea drinker, but I found some teas that actually helps create uh, wellness and take off anxiety and helps with stress. And if you're like me, I need all the help I can get. I need all the help I can get. And so, even creating an environment where, wellness is centered, wellness is a theme that you can see it around you and say, yes, it's a reminder that, hey, I need to practice wellness, whether it's drinking teas or lighting a candle, whatever it is going to do to help you get in that space. And so that's what we want to do. We want to create this space. We want to find a relaxing place where we can sit comfortably, and hopefully you've been mindful of that. That's your posture where you're at, and you can find that relaxing place. You can sit comfortably. Like I said, it's not about being rigid. Sit comfortably, and it's suggested that we set a timer for 1 minute. And so let's just practice this pause. Let's practice this pause. Like I said, I want you to be centered, be relaxed, sit comfortably, and let's practice this pause. Like I said, this is one thing we can do. This is a mindfulness exercise that we can bring into our awareness and practice to help center ourselves and find out what wellness is and part of it. So, like I said, hopefully you find a relaxing place. I already feel a little more relaxed already just by bringing attention to it. And so hopefully you found that place, that relaxing environment that you're sitting comfortably. I said, let's take just a little bit of time here. Let's pause, practice the pause. And I want you to breathe deeply. Breathe deeply in and then out while you pay close attention to any sensations or sounds that you hear. We're just bringing awareness to it. Breathe in deeply and then out. Again, pay close attention to any sensations or sounds you might hear. Take another slow, deep breath. Imagine the air moving down into the lungs and then back up. Slow, deep breath. Imagine the air moving down into the lungs and then back up. Now I want you to take one more deep breath and hold it for a moment and then release it. This is practicing the pause with Phil. Now I want you to focus on your breath. I want you to see that your breath creates a sense of calm and it can clear your mind. And then that's so good to do. Just by bringing awareness to our breath can create a sense of calm and it can clear your mind. And so I think that's just so great. And then the more we learn about wellness and some of these tools, the more we see how practical it is and how it can help in so many areas of our life. The practice of mindfulness is simply being aware of what is happening right now. Being aware of what's happening right now. And that's one of the things that we discuss with wellness that we'll be learning. Is one of them is a toolkit that I've entitled EAT. Stands for education, awareness, and tools. And so this is part of it. It's bringing this awareness. It's by being informed and bringing this awareness and practicing these tools. Like I said, I want this to be practical for us. I want us to see how this is going to benefit our lives and help us become the person who we want to be. And so that there's seven things that I learned that mindful people, what we were just doing there, this mindful exercise, seven things that mindful people do differently. Seven things. The first is mindful people, they approach everyday things with curiosity and savor them. Uh, I wonder if you could say that about yourself, that you're still curious. You still have this hunger to learn, and you take every day as a new day. That there's something new that you can learn, new that you can discover. You're curious. You're curious, and you savor the moment. I hope that we can all say that. If not, that's something that we can grow into. This is what mindfulness helps us do. We approach everyday things with curiosity and savor them. Second thing that mindful people do differently is that they forgive their mistakes, big or small. Would you say that you show yourself grace, that you can forgive yourself? Forgive yourself when you make a mistake. You're not too hard on yourself. You don't beat yourself up. Mindful people, they forgive their mistakes, whether they're big or small. And we know that's part of being human. That's part of who we are. That hey, we're prone to make mistakes from time to time, and we're not going to beat ourselves up for it. This is the second thing that mindful people do differently. They forgive their mistakes, big or small. The third thing that mindful people do differently is they show gratitude for good moments and grace for bad ones. Gratitude. Do you find yourself finding more and more gratitude in your life? I was sharing last time that we met that I went to the woods one day and last week and was walking around and I saw this little stream, this little small brook, and there's a little small waterfall, and I paused. See, I practiced the pause then and there, and I thanked my higher power for allowing me to be there in that moment to see that little stream and the peace that it brought to me, the relaxation that it brought to me, and I was grateful for that relaxation for that reminder to practice the pause. Mindful people, they show gratitude for good moments and grace for bad ones. Grace for bad ones. It's okay to experience some of these hurdles and trials in life. That's part of it. That's part of it. You know, we want to stay grounded through those, and so we can show grace to ourselves for those bad moments. The fourth thing that mindful people do differently is practice compassion and nurture connections. Compassion means to suffer with. And so for me to really practice compassion, I think it's to gain understanding, what people might go through, and maybe not even having that same understanding. Like for instance, my sister works at a nursing home, so she's there on the front lines, and she's really experiencing some of these elderly, and how they're experiencing coronavirus. Whereas me, I'm not so much in a nursing home experiencing that day by day. So, when I talked to her this last week, I showed compassion that I did not understand to that level, but I understood some of the stresses and strain that maybe she was experiencing at the time. And so, mindful people, they practice compassion and they nurture those connections. And a lot of times we have to seek those connections. I have to pick up the phone or go to a place where I want to establish connections. I believe it takes some initiative on our part to intentionally nurture those connections. And this is what mindful people do. They practice compassion and they nurture connections. The fifth thing that mindful people do differently is they meet peace with imperfection, inside and out. And so, one of the things I do that I continue to try to do with making peace with imperfection is to be able to laugh at when things don't come out flawlessly. And that's one of the things that I've really had to look and focus on is this it feels like it's a defect of character is this perfection. Want the things just to be just so that things have to come out just right, and I think that's a sense of wanting to control things, a sense of wanting to control. And so I'm constantly learning to let go, and I think by practicing these mindful techniques that we can learn to let go. It's by being in the moment. By showing ourselves grace. By taking the time out to pause. I think all these things help us with some of these things that we want to grow in. I would hope that we want to grow in. That hey, it's okay. Not things not to always come out the way that we want them to be. Sometimes it's just okay for the way that they are. And so mindful people make peace with imperfection. Inside, inside, that means the things that I'm dealing with, how I deal with it, and out, how others might perceive it. And so this is one of the other things that mindful people do differently. They make peace with imperfection inside and out. The sixth thing that mindful people do differently is they embrace vulnerability by trusting others and themselves. Hey, it's okay to be who you are. It's okay to, some people might look at themselves and say, oh, they're just goofy or whatever. And sometimes they might be too hard on themselves. That you are who you are. We're each unique, and aren't you thankful for that? We're not all the same. That we can bring different aspects and different things to the table. And I think that's what makes the world such a good place when people understand their uniqueness and they can be themselves and that they can be honest with others and they can express their vulnerability and trust others and themselves. That hey, I am who I am, and I continue to grow to get better and become my best self. But it's by being unique that I believe you can be your best self. That we can be our best self. This is what mindfulness people do differently. They embrace vulnerability and trust others and themselves. And the seventh thing, the last thing that mind people do differently is they accept and appreciate that things come and go. That things come and go. That's one of the things that life gives us is change. Things are constantly changing around us, constantly changing around us from seasons, of life to seasons in nature. Things are constantly changing, and this is one of the things that mindful people do differently. Is that they can accept it, practice that acceptance of learning to let go and see things for what they are. They learn to accept and appreciate that things come and go. Things come and go. And so these are some of the things that we want to look at. Like I said, I want us to be practical, something that we can use in our lives that's really going to make a difference. It's already, I feel like it's already making a huge difference in the way that I live, just by being educated. I read some of these books on wellness and then bringing awareness. It helps me to bring awareness to some of these things in my own life and some of these tools that we learn. Eat, education, awareness, and tools. And so, if we can, I'd like to just kind of look again at some of the things that we looked at last week. I don't want to go over it in its entirety last week, but just a kind of summation or a summary of what we looked at last time. So this is a journey here into wellness. It's a journey. It's not something that you're just going to pick up, one day by just sitting in here and listening to me talk one day. This is a journey. It's a practice, something that we continually go through, and I hope it's going to make a difference in your life. As I hope it's going to continue to make a difference in mine. So this is a journey, and I found this title, "A Journey to a Healthier You," but I want us to understand that wellness is becoming our best self. It's uh, bettering ourselves. That's what I've really found out that wellness is. It's becoming our best self. It's progression. It's potential to become all that we can be, like the Army saying, be all that you can be. That's one of the things I'm learning about wellness is this potential. It's growing. It's becoming, and so it's a journey. It's a journey, and I hope that you all will continue to take this journey with me. I believe it's going to not only change my life, but hopefully change everybody's life who becomes aware of what wellness really is. And so this is part of just breathe, breathe. Sometimes I just need to do more and more. Just breathe. Part of just breathe is practicing the pause with Phil. And it's a series that's entitled Journey to a Healthier You, or Becoming Your Best Self. That's what I believe wellness really focuses on, is who we are becoming. Who we are becoming. And I talked to my sister, like I said, last week, and she said, I really like the person that you are becoming. And so hopefully that helps us kind of wrap our minds around what wellness is, who we are becoming, who we are becoming. So this is an intro to wellness, journey to a healthier you, part of the Just Breathe, practicing the pause with Phil. All right, and so let's just touch again on the goal of this class or group, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure the dynamic of this might change as we go along. The first part is really, really informative. I really want us to grasp the idea, the concept of wellness. What really is wellness? Until we have a better understanding of wellness. And so the goal of the Recovery Center where I work at, R3, the goal of this class, this course, this Journey to a Healthier You series, is to educate us about the 8 dimension of wellness. And that's really the kind of the crux of what the Recovery Center is based on, this 8 dimensions of wellness. And so I want us to look at those 8 dimensions of wellness, really see what they are, how that looks in our own life. And I want this course to enhance our own personal sense of wellness. And so this series focuses on one dimension each month that provides tips and strategies for us all that we can apply to our own lives and the different roles that they may fill. So hopefully that gives you a little bit better idea of the goal, and we'll break it down. We'll break it down a little bit more. And this is how we're going to do it. The intention, the outline here of the course is first for us to discover wellness. I said it's going to be a discovery process. What is wellness? Wellness seems like it's so broad, and so I really want to show and to for us to look at really what all wellness entails. For instance, one of the things that we can do is we can look at how does health and wellness differ, and I'd like to do that this time as we go along. How does health and wellness differ? Is there any differentiation? What's the difference between health and wellness? And so we're just now starting this recovery center. We've been open now for a couple months, and part of that is introducing some of these classes, some of these meetings and things that we're going to be offering there at the recovery center that we just now started offering. And this is part of it. And it's Just Breathe. It's, like I said, it's a journey to a healthier you. And the purpose of the series is to educate us and enhance our own personal wellness. And so we need to look and see, how does health and wellness differ? Question for you. Is health and wellness the same? Is health and wellness the same? Though these terms can often be used interchangeably, if you answered false, you are correct. It's false. Health and wellness are not the same. Health is typically thought of in terms of the absence or presence of disease. It's often defined by the objective yes or no responses. Are you sick? Yes. Are you not sick? No, no. I'm not sick. Are you sick? Have you been diagnosed with a medical condition? Yes or no. Are you currently taking medication to manage a chronic condition? Yes or no. What is your cholesterol level? What is your blood pressure? Is your blood sugar in a healthy range? While the answers to these questions may provide a snapshot into your general physical health, they do little to determine how well of a life you are leading. And one of the things some of these things are they've got to be broken down. They've got to be broken down. And so one of the examples I used last time was I mentioned that I didn't sleep well. I didn't sleep well. Maybe some of you might have some problems every once in a while sleeping. Well, the time before I taught this class last week, I mentioned that I didn't sleep well. I woke up, in the middle of the night, 3 a.m., and I was restless, and lack of sleep or disturbed sleep is it's part of our physical wellness. Physical wellness. which for me last week it led to a headache, a pain, which is also physical wellness, and that in turn affect my mood, my emotional wellness, which can also affect my interaction with others, which is social wellness. And so this is really what wellness is. It's this holistic concept of showing how all these things are interconnected. They're interdependent on each other. And so health is just asking this yes or no questions and to see if there's an absence or presence of disease. And so the question, are you living well? Are you living well? And here's what wellness consists of. Like I said, wellness, we really need to grasp our minds around what wellness is. Are you living well? That's a question. Are you living well? Okay, now I want you to consider some of these questions. One is, what is the quality of your sleep? What is the quality of your sleep? How healthful, and nutritious are your meals and snacks? How often do you exercise? Do you lead an active or sedentary lifestyle? Sedentary, if you're not sure what that means, it just means that you sit all the time. Maybe you've got a job where you just sit all the time. Do you lead an active or sedentary lifestyle? How many close family members and friends do you have? And what is the quality of those relationships? And so, what category do you think that would fit underneath for a wellness? If you know any about these dimensions, these wellness dimensions, how many close family members and friends do you have, and what is the quality of those relationships? I think that would fit into the social wellness. Social wellness, and we'll be more. We'll find out more about these dimensions as we go along and become more acquainted with what some of these dimensions are. So that's part of it. That's part of this 8 dimensions of wellness. What kind of leisure activities do you participate in? Leisure. Does your life mainly just look like work all the time, or do you actually have some leisure activities? What dimension of wellness do you think that would fall underneath? What kind of leisure activities do you participate in? I can see it going into a lot of dimensions, and that's the way the wellness works. A lot of stuff is connected. So, if I'm not into any leisure activities, then it could cause my physical wellness to be disrupted, and it could, which in turn could affect my mood, would be emotional wellness. So all these things are interconnected. It's a wheel. We'll find out. It's a wheel. Are you financially secure? Are you financially secure? That would be financial wellness. Financial wellness. And we'll look at some of these things too. How it's all interdependent. So wellness is a holistic concept. How fulfilled are you in your work, paid or unpaid? How fulfilled are you in your work, paid or unpaid? And that would fall into vocational wellness, but we can see how it can be interconnected to these other ones too. Are you living your values? Are you living your values? That goes into spiritual wellness. But like I said, all these are interconnected. We'll see how they interconnect. So the answers to these questions may not be as cut and dry as previous health questions, like are you sick? Yes or no. These answers to these questions might not be as cut as dry as the previous health question. They likely require an explanation or a scale to answer. So maybe like a 1 to 4, like we did on that evaluation last week. But they also may lead to a panoramic view of your overall holistic sense of health, better known as wellness. So wellness can, what's one definition there is your overall holistic sense of wellness. Wellness shows physical, mental, and spiritual there. I've been looking at, and some of these folks that write about wellness and have these books and stuff that I'm reading, some of them look at maybe a 6th dimension wellness, 7th dimension wellness, 8th dimension is what we look there at the Recovery Center, and so that's where our journey will eventually take us and lead us. We'll be looking at some of these 8 dimensions of wellness So what is wellness? Hopefully you're not too confused so far, but you're starting to get it a little bit like I am, a little bit by little bit. What is wellness? Wellness is a positive, holistic lifestyle that encompasses multiple dimensions of the person. Multiple dimensions of the person. It is a conscious, self-directed, and evolving process of achieving one's full potential. Like I said, this is a journey. It's becoming the person you want to be. It's positive, it's holistic, it's multidimensional. And like we talked about last time, is wellness is up to us. Wellness is up to us. We take responsibility for our own wellness. That's one of the universal laws of wellness. It's this law of personal accountability. Law of personal accountability. I'm the one that's going to get me there. I have to take the steps. And by being educated and bringing awareness and having some of the tools, that's taking us on this journey to get there, to be the person that we want to be, to maximize our full potential and to become the person we want to be. It's personal, it's subjective, it's personalized, it's individual. It's like I said, each one of us is unique. So our wellness might look different. Maybe there's some things that I need to focus on in my life where you're already doing some of those things, like perhaps maybe exercise or your sleep patterns or eating right, whatever it might be. Some of us might be on different levels of our own wellness. It's individual, it's personal, it's cultural, and it's situational. One's own sense of wellness may change based on experiences, your age, your life stage, and your values. It's fluid. It's fluid. Wellness is about balance. It's about balance, and that's one of the things I wanted to look at when we open up each time. Is for us to recenter ourselves and to find balance. Uh, it's about moderation and avoiding social comparison. So you might see, one of your friends on the treadmill there. They're going to the gym, 10 times, a week, whatever, and maybe you're just starting out. It's avoiding social comparison. It's about betterment. Wellness is about betterment. It's about overcoming challenges, reeling in anxiety and mood swings, and ultimately becoming a better person. Overcoming challenges. What's some of the challenges that you might be experiencing in your own life right now? Maybe it's part of it is that anxiety, like I was discussing. Some of the things that I'm working on in my own wellness, and I've looked at different tools, to be able to help me to do that. Whether it's drinking the teas, or lighting the candles there. We'll learn some more of these tools as we go along. Some of the things that I found, and I continue to stay minded about some of the things I can implement in my own life. And so this is what wellness is about. It's about being balanced and betterment, overcoming challenges, reeling in your anxiety and mood swings, and ultimately becoming a better person. It's holistic. Maybe you've heard that term used before. Holistic. It's more than just physical. And so a lot of times when we think of wellness, that's why I wanted to break that idea that health and wellness is the same. It's not the same. Uh, Wellness is more than just physical. It's emotional and mental as well. Like I said, there's three parts. There is physical, mental, and spiritual. Wellness looks at the whole entire person. It's holistic. It's more than just physical. It's emotional and mental as well. We must strengthen each part of the self: physical, mental, and emotional. And this is another universal law that it speaks of about in wellness, is this law of unity. This law of unity. And perhaps as we go along, we'll learn more about that as well. So it's this holistic approach to improve all of our being, all aspects of our being. And it's self-improvement. It's a theory or framework to guide the implementation of self-improvement. And so as we go along, as we continue to take some of these evaluations and see where we're at on this wellness spectrum, we'll be looking at some of the things maybe that's personal to you that you'd like to change, and some of the things that you'd like to work on. And it's a journey. We're all taking this journey together. And like I brought up last time, uh, with the beginning of a new year and New Year's resolutions, sometimes we make our goals too big, and it's good just to focus on maybe one or two things, not to make anything too big, and just to do it one step at a time. But this is personal. One of the things that you look at here, the evaluation, is some of the things that you might feel you'd like to improve in your own life. And so our organization at Recovery Center R3, uh, we walk uh, people through these 8 dimensions of wellness. Supports all pathways. That's what's one of the things there we have in our mission statement is to offer peer supports. It's guided by SAMHSA's 8 dimensions of wellness. That's what we want to look at here. It supports all pathways, and so I'm not sure if you're on this recovery journey or not, but this all goes hand in hand. It all ties into recovery or our own wellness. And so SAMHSA, that we follow this 8 dimensions of wellness. SAMHSA stands for Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, and it provides us with this 8 dimensions of the wellness wheel. 8 dimensions, of emotion and physical and social wellness and intellectual wellness, and we'll look at all these that SAMHSA has. It's 8 of them. It's 8 dimensions of the wellness wheel. Like I said, it's all interconnected. It's a wheel. All of them need to be working properly. For smooth wheel, you don't want to have one sticking out and you have that bump, and it'd be a jagged, bumpy ride there. And so we look at this 8 dimensions of wellness wheel. It's been used extensively in the mental health practice. So it's not just something that we just came up with willy nilly. That's only been around for a short time, but it's been used extensively in mental health practice and college counseling and personal coaching. And so this is good information, and that's why I'm excited to teach it, and that's why I hope I can break it down for all of us that we can have this good understanding of it as we go along. And it's comprised this wheel, this wellness wheel that we'll look at. It's comprised of the 8 dimensions, and I want us to get familiar with what these 8 dimensions are that we look at. One is physical. Next one is social, intellectual, emotional, mental, financial, vocational, and spiritual. I've tried to, kind of bring up, each one of these, somewhat as we've been moving along. Like I said, I want us to move too fast. I want us to have a good idea of what wellness is. So, I don't want the pace to be moving too fast. I really want us to kind of weigh in on what we're learning and really grasp it as we go along. And so SAMHSA, like I said, what the Recovery Center follows and is based on, SAMHSA, Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, has this wheel of 8 dimensions. It's emotional, it's financial, social, spiritual, occupational, physical, intellectual, and environmental. And physical, and we'll have a PowerPoint more as we go forward. I just don't have it on this one. That would help us to see a little bit more of these. But physical looks at fitness and nutrition. Fitness and nutrition. Emotional looks at acceptance of feelings and coping with adversity. Emotional acceptance of feelings and coping with adversity. Social is positive relationships and roles, like one of those questions asked, who's in your circle of friends and your contacts. Spiritual looks at congruent values and life's purpose. Are you living up to your values and continuing on for your life's purpose? That's part of spiritual wellness. Intellectual, it's lifelong learning and creative problem solving. And so you continue to learn new things. Occupational looks at do you have a meaningful career? And are you satisfied with the work that you do? Environmental looks at appreciation for nature and home. Like I said, we can create our own, environmental wellness. Hopefully you've got a place that you can go to and you can relax and wind down And have a personal responsibility to create that. We can create that for ourselves. Hopefully, uh, we all have that a place that we can uh, be in tune with and find balance. Environmental is appreciation for nature and home. And so a lot of times when I go and I look for that environmental wellness, I'll go on a walk in nature, or I create that space inside my home with whether it's drinking tea or lighting a candle. Then we can create that. Financial wellness looks at satisfaction with current and future financial situations. You'll see that if you're under financial strain, they can cause disruptions in other areas of wellness, like your emotions or physical. All those, like I said, are interconnected. It interlaps. Um, and so that's what we're looking at. We're looking at how this emotional wheel is interconnected and how it's balanced. I said a big part of wellness is finding balance. And since all these dimensions they affect each other, these dimensions are often depicted as overlapping circles that make up the wheel. And I said we'll have a PowerPoint next week that will really give us this visual of what these are. But I just kind of want to go over some of these concepts, and we'll reiterate some of these things. I think reiteration is a powerful learning tool, to go over some of these new concepts. Because for me, when I was looking into wellness, a lot of this stuff was new. I didn't know a lot of these things, and that's why I've really, tried to get into some of these books and these materials on wellness, just so I can have a better understanding. And they always say, if you want to understand something, the best way is to teach it. So hopefully, I can continue to learn and to practice these principles and have these own wellness concepts into my own life. The idea is to be aware of these dimensions interconnectedness, and hopefully you've been starting to see how some of these things are interconnected. That's one of the main ideas is to become aware of their interconnectedness, and avoid improving one at the expense of others. So you don't want to be out of balance. You don't want to be out of balance. You want to continue to stay in balance, and to implement these, and become aware of what that looks like. The need to be balanced so that the wheel can turn. So that the wheel can turn. All of these, so it turns smoothly. And to give you an example, something that I've brought up, and I'll probably continue to bring up, is that when I go for a walk, which would be physical wellness, when I go for a walk, I feel better. That's emotional. That's emotional. Will in turn help me, to make connections, social. Perhaps you felt like that. I know, that was a big obstacle for me in recovery. Was a lot of times I could feel isolated, or I seclude myself. That's what my disease wanted me to do. It didn't want me to make those connections, and so when I would be isolated, I'd start feeling bad. I'd be in my head, like we talked about earlier. And so for me, I need to figure out what could I do to get out of that place. That place, I always called it the funk. How could I get out of the funk? And so one of the things I started doing and implementing into my recovery journey was I would start walking. I would start walking, and as I did that, I noticed that I felt better. That's what wellness is looking at. It's this wheel. It's this wheel, how everything is interconnected. And so when I go for a walk, that's just physical wellness, I start feeling better, which is emotional wellness, which then in turn will help me to gain balance, and to make those connections with others, which would be social connection. And we'll see as how all these are interconnected. It makes it this is a wheel that needs to stay balanced, and that's what I really like about this framework. Is because it emphasizes holistic balance, holistic, all of a person, all of a person, which I think is the key to sustainability. To sustainability, we want something that can sustain us, that can sustain us, and so this is why we call it a journey. This is why we call it a journey. That's the title of this series, a journey to a healthier you. It's because there's no defined starting point or stopping point. Some of us might be on different levels of the wellness spectrum. There's no starting point or stopping point. We continue to become the person that we want to be, our potential. Continue to become the person that we want to be. And it's different and it's personalized for every individual. Like I said, I'll have some slides next time that we can really continue to look at some of these concepts and have a visual as we go along. But I just want to continue to look at some of these terms this time, so that hopefully we can have a better understanding and be even more aware of what some of these concepts and things are as we move forward. And so that's why this is called a journey. It's a journey to a healthier you. It's individual and it's personalized. There's no starting point or stopping point. Uh, there are many different paths to follow, and you should take the path that makes the most sense for you. And so, as I've explained that, I'm dealing with a lot of anxiety and things like that. I try to practice the pause. I'm drinking the teas. That's one of the things I'm looking at. That would be an emotional wellness, but I understand it also is a will, and so it affects all the other things. And so these are things that some of the things I'm looking at, and maybe you're looking at something else in your life, and maybe it's not anxiety. Maybe it's something simple that maybe you find that you're overwhelmed and that you're putting in long hours at work. And maybe one of the things that you want to look at is, hey, I need to find balance in maybe a leisurely activity, maybe exercising more. We're all at different places, and so maybe it's something that is just jumping out at you and saying, yes, yes, I need to make this change in my life, and I'm gonna be willing to do it, and just do it a small step at a time, small step at a time. There are many different paths to follow, and you should take the path that makes the most sense for you. The journey is compromised. The journey is comprised, not compromised, comprised of 8 wellness dimensions, and people are at varying levels of each dimension. For example, while someone may have a very strong sense of spiritual wellness, they may be lacking in their emotional wellness. Another person may feel secure in their financial wellness, but their physical wellness could use some improvement. And so I hope that you'll take this journey for me. I hope that, or this journey with me. I think I might have said for me. I hope that you take this journey with me, that you'll continue to learn what wellness is, and that you're excited about taking this journey. And, I want us to say all aboard. That's what I had here on this sheet that I'm looking at. All aboard, all aboard. It is a journey. It is a journey, and I hope that you join us as we embark on this journey to become healthier and happier and well balanced, laborers leading successful lives and doing our best each and every day. And I hope that you're excited to continue to learn more about some of these things. And we'll pick up where we left off. And like I said, we might have some more visuals for us to see how all this goes in. I'm not in a rush to go through all this to, just throw a lot of information out of our way. I really want us to grasp and understand this concept of wellness, because I believe it's going to make a huge impact and a difference in each one of our lives. And I'm already starting to see, some of the changes that it's made in my life so far. Uh, with some of my eating habits. I noticed there's just some things that I just don't want anymore. I didn't, I wasn't going in with the intention of necessarily changing some of my eating habits. But that's what's so cool about wellness is once you start making one small step or change in one of the dimensions of wellness, it starts to carry over in some of the other ones, because that's how wellness works. Wellness works to create balance, to create balance. And so it really is cool. I'm excited about learning and discovering some of these concepts of wellness, and I want to share that with you. And I hope that you're excited about it too. That you look forward to learning and taking this journey each week with me as we practice the pause and discover what wellness really means and how it can shape our lives to become the better person that we want to be, to become into that full potential to become the person that we want to be. And so I hope that you've gained a little bit more clarity of what wellness looks like this time. Like I said, I'm not in a rush. I'm not going to fly through this material because I really want us to understand these things. And so we'll look again more at some of these things next time because, like I said, I believe reiteration. When we learn things over and over again, we'll be more well equipped to practice wellness in our own lives. So I hope that you're able to take something away this time from what we've learned. Like I said, I think the PowerPoint maybe could have had more visuals, but we'll have that next time. So bear with me. We're still going through all these, learning how to do these classes and workshops and all these things here at the Recovery Center. So I'm excited for what the future has in store, and you can always check out these videos too. They're going to be on YouTube. So I hope that you share what you're learning, share what you're learning with your friends, and invite them to take this journey as well. This can help everyone. I believe this can help everyone. So I hope that you're excited and that you've learned something this time, and that you're looking forward to next week. And so continue to take this journey with me. And I'll see you next time. And I hope you have a good Wellness Wednesday. Be sure to like the Wilkes Recovery Revolution page, and make sure you go to YouTube and like us on YouTube as well, so you can follow along on all these videos and stay up to date. And so I look forward to seeing you next time, and I hope you have a good Wellness Wednesday. Bye bye.